Coming Down is proudly sponsored by Colorado Ganja Gear, high-quality, artistically inspired herb grinders. So let me tell you, these things are great. I actually own one. My favorite part is the perfect consistency you get after grinding. Some grinders just pulverize your herb into dust, but the razor-sharp teeth and smooth action on these always leave you with perfect, fluffy, evenly ground herb. The craftsmanship is top-notch, made from aircraft-grade aluminum, to guarantee you won't get metal shavings mixed into your herb. But the best part, truly, is each grinder features original artwork created by Colorado artist Lori Beatty. She creates unique mandalas that are laser-etched into each magnetic lid. And each grinder comes in a silk bag and has free shipping. So just go to etsy.com/shop/Colorado Ganja Gear and enter the code COMINGDOWN in all caps for $5 off, or go to the show notes for this episode and follow the link. Thanks and enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Coming Down. My name is Nathan. I'm here with Matthew.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, man. How are you doing?
Dude, I'm doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You, for the listener at home, you heard it here first. We are drinking the Natural Light Seltzer.
It is both natural and light.
I just want to say, aloha, beaches.
Oh, such clever nomenclature.
Yep, because that is what it says on the can.
Yeah, it says when mango and peach go beach mode.
Yep. I can tell you that it's actually not terrible, though.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. Like, all of these fucking things are the same goddamn thing in a different package. So,
pretty much, yeah.
You know, I mean, way to not fuck it up, Natty.
Yeah, right? Yeah, the seltzers are all just go down easy, fucking drinkable shit.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like, as we all know, there are no laws when you fuck with claws. Unless, of course, you're trying to make unlicensed merchandise. But, like, I don't know, dude. It's not my go-to when I want something to drink, but
yeah,
you know, fuck it, man. If I want to fucking La Croix with some booze in it,
yeah,
could do worse than this.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, hopefully it drives the price down a little bit, because I imagine the standard of Natural Light will meet their beer standard of dirt fucking cheap.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, this is gonna, I'm guessing this is quickly gonna become like the frat boy drink of choice,
right?
You know, like, fuck drinking an actual natty beer, like, that tastes like garbage.
Yep.
This tastes like Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And this probably gets you more fucked up. I don't remember what the percentage is on natty, but like, this is 6%.
Yeah, so. This is 6. I mean, Natty Light's gotta be like, you know, 3.5 or 4.
I mean, I was thinking 4 or 5, but still, you know.
I think the ice is like 6, but
I'm so not versed in the ways of natty.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I played beer pong. Let's just say that much.
Like, I think the only like really funky beer that I drank a lot of was the Beast.
Oh yeah.
Did you guys get
Milwaukee's Beast?
Ice.
Because
that was the Beast. Like, Milwaukee's Best, you just called that Milwaukee's Best.
Oh, okay.
If it was Milwaukee's Best Ice, that was the Beast.
Damn, no. I think if we were doing the ice, it was the Natural Ice. There was one other one that was real bad, though, too. Yeah, I don't remember.
It's, you know, its mate did not remember.
Yeah, that was the goal. That was the goal in mind, so I guess it worked.
Yeah, you know, mission accomplished.
Yeah, totally.
We got there.
Yeah, man, anything going on this week?
Well, I mean, you know, we already talked about how the Tesla Corporation released the 3D model of the wireframe sketch of the warthog from Halo.
Yeah. God damn. So when that thing dropped, because obviously there's been a huge rage about the Tesla truck that just looks ridiculous. Right. I loved it though, and I immediately Googled all of the like '90s action movies, because I was like, I've seen this.
Is this from Time Cop? What is this?
No. So I'm Googling Demolition Man. No, not that. Total Recall. No, not quite. Like RoboCop. No. All right.
It kind of looks like the truck from The Highwayman.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Not as cool. That truck actually looked more like the fucking landing vehicle from Aliens that the Space Marines drove around in.
Oh yeah.
That thing was bitching.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I couldn't find the exact thing that I was thinking of, but when I saw the picture, I was like, I've seen this before,
right?
In like a '90s movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, yeah, it was hilarious.
And like, good call on Demolition Man. It definitely looks like something from that movie.
Yeah, it's one of the. I'll find it eventually.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I watched the little like video clip of them throwing the steel balls at the windows and stuff too. Just hilarious, and like hitting the side of it with a sledgehammer and shit. Like, god damn, dude, this is wild.
Yeah, when's he gonna launch one of those into orbit, you know?
God, I don't know.
This time he needs to put like a crash test dummy in the fucking cockpit, like,
yeah,
giving the one finger salute or something.
Yeah, for real. Or like with just like a printout of his weed smoking face.
Yes,
you know? Like holding a joint.
Oh god, the memes that are like his weed smoking face and then him presenting the truck in the next panel are just gold. So good.
Yeah, I saw one of like it was like, you know, old Tomb Raider with like the block boobs.
Yes.
Then like zooms in on the boobs and then just shows his like weed smoking face. Like,
Oh, that's
man.
rich.
I love it though, man. If we just start seeing those on the road, like, not even mad.
Hey man, like any vehicle that drives itself, I am in full support of. Like,
yeah,
I want the road to be nothing but self-driving vehicles, apart from scenic highways that we designate as humans only.
I totally agree. That would just be awesome,
right?
We'll get there.
Yep.
We're getting there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, some dude owns a Tesla who comes to N-dubs, and he just like intentionally like parked it all fucked up one night just so he could show everyone how it just auto parallel parks.
Oh, nice.
And we're all just standing out there watching this thing just like figure it out and like wedge into this little spot and just like perfectly right on the curb. Like, damn, dude, that is pretty impressive.
Hell yeah. Man, I knew this guy in high school who like did a lot of work on cars, and to this day I have no idea like what kind of mods he did to make this work, but he had a car that had the rear wheels turned as well. And so he could do crazy shit like fucking drive his car sideways and like fucking do really sharp fucking swings with the car, like, you know, crazy parallel park mode. And like, I'm just like,
wild.
What the fuck? So crazy.
It's gotta be hard to drive.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely like a trick car for doing weird shit. You know? I mean, I don't think it was something you want to drive a long distance in, because I imagine the alignment gets weird after a while. But
yeah,
definitely did some cool shit in parking lots.
Hell yeah. Oh man, in another life I really wanted to be a stunt driver.
Nice.
But
I wanted to be a rally driver.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, any of that stuff would be super fun.
Hell yeah. I definitely rallied a car that was in no way prepared for it.
Yeah, I think we all have to some extent. Oh fuck, man, this one night God, man, and I was like 15 or 16, and we were at some party, some weed smoking gathering or something, and I think my friends wanted to stay, but I needed to get home, and this guy that I did not know at all said he'd give me a ride. And we're just like roasting joints the whole way, you know, back to my end of town, and then just out of nowhere he just looks at me and goes, "You ever been mud bogging?" And before I could even say what's mud bogging, he just peels into this field and just like takes us on like 180s through all this mud, and I'm just like holding on like, ah! Like, what the fuck, man?
Oh man, I'm pretty sure that's how most of us went off-road for the first time.
Yeah. It's just hilarious. Just this dude I do not know. He's like, I'm going to take this kid on a spin.
Where I grew up, we call it 4-buying.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure every region has their silly little mud bogging 4-buying.
Yeah.
Wait, have we talked about...
Muddin'.
Yeah, muddin'. Have we talked about... What do you call rolling up all the windows and smoking a ton of weed?
Oh, we have talked about this, and we called it hot boxing.
Okay, we called it hot boxing too.
But I've heard it called a clam bake.
Yeah, I knew these dudes, or I met these dudes from Illinois, and they called it a bako.
Bako?
Yeah.
All right.
It's like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm into it. Well, not really though, because like that's just the best way to get arrested. I mean, like, or the easiest way to get arrested, I should say.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like, you're gonna get pulled over for being a teenager at some point, and if your car smells like you just burned the fattest doob in there, then, you know, there's not really a whole lot of leeway there.
Yeah.
Cops gotta like take a long walk to figure out how to like not arrest you for that shit.
Right. Oh man. Well, anywho, I digress. So this week continues the story of Desert Daze. It's a little shorter, but this finishes out Rikki and I's trip to Desert Daze, allegedly,
Yes.
and all the things that allegedly happened while there.
The fictional characters that magically resemble you and your wife
Yep.
almost to a T.
Yep, totally. It's pretty wild, and how they inserted the memories into my head, I'll never know. Science is weird.
Dude, we inceptioned we put some dreams in your dreams
Yep.
so that you could dream while you're in your dreams.
Yep. Woo! So that's what's going on this week. We want to let everyone know that after this week, we are going to put out one more hypothetical, but you won't get an intro from us, so this will be your last sort of week-to-week update from us, and then we are taking a break.
Yes.
We kind of never anticipated taking one, but just life has gotten the better of us, and we ran out of backfill on our stories. And
Well, look, we're putting out 5 episodes a month.
Right.
And we record 4 times a month. So
Right.
you do the math.
Yeah.
And, like life happens sometimes. We can't get together to record that week, but
Yep.
we're still publishing every week. So
Yep, totally.
the bank vault is nigh empty.
It's tapped. And as we've been talking about, by doing like intros of the episode we haven't even recorded yet and things like that
Right.
recently. So
It's been a little seat of the pants lately, and that
Yeah.
doesn't feel so good.
also, we've done a lot more long form ones, so I think this gives some folks a chance to catch up.
Right.
If you're a few episodes behind, just take the holiday season and catch up. Everyone, spend times with your friends and family, enjoy yourself, relax. We're going to keep recording,
Yes,
but we're not
we
going
are.
to put anything out until the new year.
Yeah, but rest assured, we are still going to be hard at work. We're just not going to be publishing anything for the next 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, I think
it's gonna be.
it'll round out to about 5 weeks of not putting anything out. So by the time you're hearing this, there will be a new Patreon, and maybe we'll get a Patreon up in December as well. But
Right.
for the main feed, it's going to go dark for just a little time while we recharge, record some stuff, and get back on our feet again. So.
Absolutely. But, I imagine a lot of you are going to be busy doing holiday shit anyway, so...
And that's kind of what we figured. A lot of people listen while they work and stuff, and people take time off and travel and this, that, and the other. So, apologies that we're taking a little time off. But
Yeah.
also, we've made it 62 some odd episodes without taking a break. So,
Absolutely.
Kudos to ourselves. A pat on the back to ourselves. Because, when we started this thing, I never even knew we'd make it to 60 episodes, let alone consistently. So,
Pulling it off.
feels rad.
Oh, yeah.
Enjoy this episode. Enjoy a hypotheticals next week. And then we'll take a little break, and we'll see you in the new year. I did mention Patreon, so if you want to sign up for that, we've got some new content and some new formats coming out for that, where we watch movies and tease our friend who hasn't seen a bunch of classics. The current episode is The Thing, so definitely check that out.
Oh, yeah,
and
it's a
for,
good one.
Yeah, for just $1 a month, you get access to all that bonus content. And if you want to do a little more, we've got a bunch of tiers that get you stickers and coasters and buttons and shirts and stuff. Thank you to everyone who is contributing.
Yes,
already.
thank you.
It's super cool. And and for you, we will try and still get some stuff for you while we take our little break. That said, check out the website, comingdownpod.com. We do have show notes for last week's episode and this week's episode of pictures that we took down at Desert Daze, and
Nice.
then pictures of the lineup, so you can see all the crazy bands that we saw, didn't see.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly saw or didn't see, or tried to watch, but boy. Yeah. Look, I saw a wand, but I don't know.
You were technically in the same physical region as the band.
Yep.
Watching them through a heavy filter of...
That's what the science would tell me.
Yeah.
If you want to hit us up, Coming Down Pod, or at Coming Down Pod on Twitter, and comingdownpod@gmail.com. It's the best way to get a hold of us if you want to be on the show, or if you just want to tell us what you think. We love to hear from people. And platforms. Oh yeah, you know the platforms.
Yep.
Hop on Stitcher if you want to rate and review. We'd love to hear from you there. And yeah, other than that, enjoy the break and let's go. Then we woke up Saturday, if you could call it waking up, since we're not really sure if sleep happened.
You pronounced yourself wakeful.
Yeah. And that was cool because each morning too we got to kind of awake to hearing bands sound check, you know, because you could hear it,
tight.
you know, yeah, which was kind of cool. So I kind of woke up to hearing like Devo songs, and they sound checked a lot. So
They sound checked for like an hour straight.
Yeah.
It felt
Wow.
like
So-
a long time.
So I knew a lot of the songs they were gonna play, and I was just getting hyped. I was like, "Yes, dude!" Because they're just gonna play all the hits, which they did. But we got up, and you know, yeah, I mean, after Friday night it was rough, but we felt okay.
Yeah, and it's always nice waking up camping too. Like I got up and rolled into a camping chair and like sat there for a good 5 minutes, drank some juice and some water, smoked a cig, smoked a bowl, and like leisurely like went to the bathroom and brushed my teeth and shit. You know, it's like the waking up process takes like a full hour. When
No,
you're camping,
and we
so
did some
that
good
was
self-care after that first night. You know, like
I drank a lot of juice.
Yeah, we drank a lot of
Then and
juice.
after.
Ate some vegetables and, you know, whatever we could sort of muster to keep down. And yeah, and I mean, you know, camping at a festival, it's like, well, we don't have anywhere to be. I don't care how fucking haggard I am.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Apply more booze. It'll get better.
Yeah, and so we just sort of did that. We knew we had some bands we wanted to see sort of midday. I think like 3 p.m. was kind of the first thing we wanted to see. So.
Okay.
But I remember not hating the world at this point.
Sure, and
you know?
what
I drank
like,
a lot of water the night before. Like,
Yeah.
What
I honestly did okay.
what general time of day are we talking here?
Like when we got up?
Like when you started doing stuff.
Oh, probably like 10 or 11.
morning.
Yeah, like 10,
You
10
couldn't
or
sleep
11.
past 10 because it
Yeah.
got way too hot in the tent.
kinda
You
what I
had to
figured,
get
yeah.
up.
Too
by
hot in the
then.
tent. You could hear the band sound checking and just the entire camp area was like lighting up. So it was like we're just hearing people like walking through our camp and so I mean you couldn't really get much past 10 or 11, but so we got out. We did some self-care. We did breakfast, kind of took care of ourselves a little bit. And then the plan was we were going to go and see a couple daytime bands that we wanted to see, which was Alton Gun, which fuck dude, other than Temples, they might have been like my second favorite band.
Nice.
They were so good.
I already liked them a little bit and then watched that show, and now I listen to their album like constantly because like it really just solidified it for me.
Yeah, they're this Turkish band, and they play like a Turkish lute, but also have like a couple keyboards and 2 drummers, and they're just
And like a guitar, I think, or whatever, but like
Yeah.
that's like a prominent sound.
Whoa.
yeah. So
And
they
they
were
just
cool.
sing
Salute is.
Turkish, I guess.
Yeah, they do just sing in Turkish. Yeah, it's really
But
cool.
they're tight, yeah.
So they were like a daytime show we wanted to see. We also wanted to check out Klaus Johann Grob, who's like a German band. And so we kind of got our shit together, went down there. Did we get food in the venue? I think we got some food.
Yeah, that might have been when I got fucking $13 mac and cheese the first time.
It was, yeah, totally. Yeah,
It
actually,
was dank though. At least it was like buffalo chicken mac and cheese. There was like a big old fucking bowl of it with
Okay.
like chunks of buffalo chicken. Like it was one of the more reasonable, like hearty things that you could get for $13. The
No
previous
gold
sandwich I
foil
got
or-
was a small sandwich and a pickle slice for $17. And I did not know it was $17 because a lot of the expensive food carts did not put up their prices.
oh yeah, I don't know if we talked about the food shit previously.
No, I don't.
It's fucked,
I don't
man.
think so.
So we brought a ton of food, but we also knew that we were going to spend a ton of time in the venue. So we sort of made a commitment to like, okay, we'll buy one overpriced food thing per day, which means also we get like a hot meal because we didn't bring any like stove stuff. So
Okay.
it's like camp's going to just be all like kind of snacks and vittles, and if we want like a hot meal, we'll just spring for it.
Like lunch or dinner, whatever.
Once per
but
day,
yeah.
we'll go into the venue
Sure.
and we'll just buy one thing, right? And it was always so overpriced. Yeah, like Friday we bought these overpriced sandwiches, and they were very good.
Really good. Honestly, it was one of the better sandwiches I've ever had in my life, but it was small. The pickle slice was delicious. It was a $17 fucking meal.
Yeah, totally.
And it was
Fuck that.
yeah, it was insane.
Yeah.
And again, like I didn't know, but like what are you going to do? Stand in line just to find out how much all of the things you're thinking about getting are?
Yep.
Like, to ask the guy? Or are you like, I'm at a festival, I guess it doesn't matter, I'm going to pay it anyway, and then you just order it so they can really charge whatever the fuck they want. There was a sushi tent there. Oh, there was, like, all sorts of wild shit you could technically get, but, like, man... So I learned
fuck that though.
I learned
sushi
quick.
tent at a festival. Fuck you.
That's what I said. I was like, that does not seem good.
But yeah, I learned just to like target the places that actually put their prices up. It's like, at least if you tell me how much a thing is.
Well, because they're being competitive.
Yeah, at least just tell me how much you're going to gouge me. No, and apparently on the subreddit, some people really bitched about that. It was like, don't get vendors who just don't put up prices because it just seems like predatory. And
absolutely.
And even the guy who ran the festival was like, no, we're going to try and like put the kibosh on that for next year because that just seemed shitty.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you should be regulating prices as an organizer. Like, what menu are you planning? How are you planning on pricing it? Okay, that seems a bit steep. What are your portion sizes? You know, like
right. But as a promoter, it's like you don't have a ton of control over that. You just just hire these people. You probably hired someone who hired.
At the very least, up front, you could be like, hey.
You could establish maxes or something. You could be like, you also want to participate in this festival because you know the draw.
Like, you're not necessarily going to enforce anything, but at the very least, have some expectations.
No, and I mean, they had some trucks. The one, that $17 sandwich had like a, as seen on some fucking show.
Oh, like a Food Network show.
Yeah. So it was like...
I'm sure that's why they were asked to be there. Yeah.
I'm sure that's why they were asked to be there, and I'm sure that's why they got away with charging fucking an arm and a leg for a sandwich. But, anywho... So we rolled into the festival. We checked out Alton Gunn and Klaus Johann Grobe. I think at the end of his set was when we grabbed food.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And then we were like, okay, we're going to bounce back to camp because I think Devo started at like 6. And then once Devo started, it was just a string of stuff we wanted to see. It was
like 5 bands in a row. 5 or 6.
Or it was like 6 things in a row we just wanted to see. So this was our night that we were going to go ham, which is also why we weren't so concerned about sort of fucking up Friday night.
Right.
It's like we kind of fucked up and we missed some things, but we still caught the things we wanted to see, and it all worked out, and it lent to a good atmosphere and feeling for the next day.
So this is why you're still friends with the guy who hooked you up with the acid?
Yeah, absolutely. And also why I'm still friends with acid, man. Like, and maybe at the end of this story, I'll kind of, I'm going to save it till the end of the story to talk about my relationship with acid and psychedelics, because I think that's just like a bigger conversation, I don't want to detract from the main story right now. But and so we did that. It was great. Fucking Alton Gunn was great. Klaus Johann was great. And then we rolled back to camp and we were like, cool, like, let's get a beer in us, start prepping, like, get our nighttime gear together.
Sure. Because at this point we still have a lot of beer left because we've now gone a whole day without actually consuming any of the beer.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, right.
So
because we didn't drink on the acid.
I mean, the fear was strong enough, right?
Yeah. I didn't need anything else.
Yeah, and beer doesn't do anything when you're tripping anyway, so...
more on this later, but
okay.
I've made some very important discoveries.
So we get back, and we crack a beer, and we're just sitting around, and then I start feeling like garbage.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm heat exhausted at this point. It's clear, like, because I had rolled around all Friday. Because I had rolled around early Friday, just like scoping the entirety of like the campgrounds and everywhere, dude. And we were responsible. I used sunscreen, not enough, but I used sunscreen. I had a hat. I had all the things to like keep myself healthy.
We didn't bring the Camelbacks early that day.
We didn't. We should have just
water
probably.
Bottle. Maybe you would have drank more water if like we had just done it.
Maybe. And I drank tons of water on Friday night. I don't know. So we were doing everything right, but it's just like you're also just out there in the sun all day, and that sun's oppressive, man.
A thing, like how often in your daily life are you in the sun all day?
Yeah, hardly ever, dude.
Yeah.
Never.
As a Portlander, like, not at all, dude.
Yeah, I mean, you could be outside all day and never see the sun. So,
Yeah, and so At this point, I drink like half a beer, and I am feeling garbage.
Shitty.
And I'm like, it's like 45 minutes to an hour until Devo starts, and I'm like, I don't know what to do, man. I feel awful. And so I just crawled into the tent, laid down for about 15 minutes. But I was laying there, man, and I felt just the fucking utter death, man. I just felt the worst. Like, all of it was hitting me. I was like, man, I'm like finally kind of coming off of the acid. I have not slept, or, you know, I did something that resembled sleep. I feel fucking death right now. And I seriously, because I was nauseous and just not feel good at all. And I'm sitting there contemplating, I'm like, am I going to just miss Devo?
No.
Am I just going to like sleep through this right now? Like, am I going to miss Devo and Ween and like all the shit I drove out here for? And that was like what inspired me to like be like, fuck no, you're not, dude. Get your fucking pansy ass up and like fucking let's figure this out, dude. And so I got up, chugged some water, and was just like, no, let's go. And
that's about the time the sun started like thinking about going down, at least.
And luckily that's when the just oppressiveness of the sun sort of like quelled. And as we were kind of walking down, the sun's like dipping behind the ridge, and like, and as soon as the sun went down, I felt fine, man. Like, once it was cool air around me and just like not that sun fucking just crushing me, I was fine.
All right.
And so it worked. So I got up, fucking, we rallied. I rallied. And we walked down, got down there right as Devo was just about starting.
They were doing like a
they were playing like
mini
a
documentary-ish sort of thing on the like big screen behind them, like while people were, they weren't even on stage at that point.
No,
it was like kind of just leading up.
No, they played this little mini doc thing, which was fine or whatever. But yeah, basically right as the sun totally went down, Devo starts. They crushed it. It was so fucking killer, man.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
So many people running around in energy domes, which was awesome.
Yeah. We brought our fucking energy dome all the way down there, and then both of us realized that we weren't going to want to wear it all night, and we didn't want to carry it, so we left it in the car.
Yeah. Well, because it's
I felt like such an asshole, but I was like, look, there are going to be like hundreds of people there with energy domes for us.
Well,
like,
and I mean, come on.
That's fine.
If you're going to a Devo show, that's like a one-stop thing. Like, you've got your energy dome and you're good.
Yeah.
You're trying to see like 5 other bands, you're gonna look like an idiot.
And we didn't want to fucking leave and come back at that point, because again, they were like one after another after Devo. Devo started off the like chain reaction.
I mean, like, sure, like Ween's not
gonna
gonna care if you have an energy dome on, but like the rest of it is like,
oh, and I don't even care like what the bands think. I just like, it's a fucking plastic helmet.
It's a costume piece that we even modified to even like stay on your head.
Well, that's the thing, is it's like not actually a thing that you can wear.
No. It's not functional. So anyhow.
So I felt a little like sad that I fucked that up, but
yeah. But yeah, no, you didn't. Yeah, no, we brought it. We brought it just in case.
We brought it all the way there and brought it all the way back, but did not wear it.
So we crushed that Devo set. There, I'm trying to think if there were any highlights. There was one moment where Mark Mothersbaugh was like, "This one's a new one we've been working on," and because they had just been playing nothing but hits, and kind of the leading up to it, because they initially called it their farewell tour, and now they called it their like beginning of the end tour or whatever. And so everyone just kind of knew.
Maybe.
Yeah. So everyone just kind of knew it was like, it was just going to be, you know, their whole history.
Sure.
And then he's like, here's a new one we've been working on. And then they just launch into Whip It. Which is great.
That's hysterical.
But yeah, they killed it. They did a few costume changes. Like, they were just fucking great.
Dude, all I need to hear is fucking Gates of Steel and Uncontrollable Urge. And like,
they played both of those.
My itch is scratched. You know? Well, and I mean, Girl You Want is also like...
I mean,
they played that
once
one
you
too.
Start going, it's like, well, actually, when you're 7 or 8, but I guarantee you they played them all.
Yeah, I mean, God, if there was a song I could think of that they didn't play that I wanted them to, like, they didn't play Through Being Cool, you know? Like, that's a good one.
All right.
But I mean, just pretty much everything you wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were great. And so immediately after Devo ends, we run to the next stage over to catch.
Thank God it's next doors.
Yeah.
Like, it's a second to get over there, but, like, it's right there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so we run over to catch psychedelic porn crumpets.
Yes.
They fucking rule. And this was the first time we really paid attention to that stage because they had liquid light display.
Whoa.
Like, live projected on, these two big white panels on the sides, and then the whole, like, canopy of that stage had, like, you know how they do it, like, Pickathon and shit? It's, like, white triangles that are all, like, kind of in, like, a canopy sort of pattern. But they projected up there too, so it's all this liquid light going like above you on these panels, and then on the
check
the
the
photo in the show notes.
Check the show notes because there's some good pictures of this stage.
It was sweet though.
Well, didn't you post a video of that to like a chat that I was in?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
it was cool. I love that shit so much. It's so old school and incredible, dude.
Yeah, the artist
one of a
is Mad Alchemy. That's who was doing it, and they do a lot of liquid light show or live liquid light shows.
That's the original like Tripper Light show from like Grateful Dead back in the 60s and stuff.
And actually, so we were even talking about that night. So Andy Warhol is the one who started that with the Velvet Underground.
That's right.
And they would just take an overhead projector with little like petri dishes, and they would just drop oils and like dyes and stuff in and swirl them around, and then just project that over the band.
I think
that was the original like liquid light shows.
In the EMP or whatever they call it now in Seattle, the like museum that's up there, I'm pretty sure one of their exhibits you can like fuck with like a liquid light thing, and I'm pretty sure they credit Warhol in it too. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Velvet
it's
Underground
fun shit
like
to fuck
pioneered
around
that
with
shit.
if you get your hands on it. It's wild.
Yeah, and this dude, because like it was hand done stuff. It wasn't digital, because occasionally you would see like a hand shadow like come across like one of the
like
fucking like banners, or just like a little dropper or something. Yeah, totally. You just see these shadows reach in and just like start messing with the liquids and stuff. Anyway, so that was the first band we saw with this shit, and we were just like fucking blown away. It was so cool. But we were also feeling a little tired at this point, so that's when we decided to take Molly. Which was the plan, and we were like, let's do it.
Best Saturday plan.
Yep. So we were like, let's take some Molly, let's go buy a beer, and, that's going to kick us off for the rest of this evening.
Yeah, buddy.
And, boy, that just worked so fast, because by the end of the porn crumpets, I was just feeling great. Like,
I was too.
Like, we were tired. We, like, sat and stood for like 50-50 on Devo's set and even the porn crumpet set, because like our feet and legs were just so tired from like the previess day, and so we're just like sitting and like, okay, let's take some Molly.
Yeah, for sure.
Drink a beer.
I don't remember what I was gonna say. The beer is expensive.
Yeah, we should talk about that real quick. The beer.
Oh my goodness! Sorry, 1 second. Hey, I'm trying to get you to stop getting on my coat, and now you're attacking me.
Whoa!
That was insane.
She's such a punk when she gets on this.
She's showing off.
God, sorry, she was biting the fuck out of my arm.
Yeah.
So that's what I was gonna say. The only downside to like starting to like vibe on this fucking Molly is the fact that it's like, oh, now I really want to drink, but like we have to stay in the venue. We can't bring beers into the venue. So if I want a fucking beer, like, we're in it now. Like,
what are they, like $10 beers? Or?
Oh, buddy, I wish. They were $13 for an IPA for 16 ounces, so like bigger than a can.
But like 12 for a PBR.
$13 for a fucking tall boy and 12 for a fucking PBR tall boy.
And again, not a tall boy, homie. Like just a
16-ounce cup.
Like just a cup.
Oh.
Yep.
But I mean, that's the same amount of ounces, but...
No, but dude, I watched so many people biff it with those fucking cups.
Yeah,
on that uneven ground. And did we already talk about the fucking animal holes that were like...
the snake holes that were everywhere? Yeah.
Like, you had to watch where you were fucking going, because out of nowhere and unmarked, there would just be a fucking animal hole in the ground that you could easily fucking trip in, especially if you're drunk.
That's some
absurd.
bullshit.
So yeah, like, you have like a fucking...
Fill in the fucking snake holes, people.
Yeah.
Well, there was a really gnarly one by the tent, and they finally put cones around it the second night.
So it's bad.
But the first night, we were like... tripping, and every time, but I'm still like well aware of it, so it was like every time we were like, watch out, like we'll look out for that one.
I know. We were watching out for each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're giving you just like a fucking plastic cup filled to the brim, so you have to like really just be careful. I don't know, it's $13 though.
Yeah, and
Fuck
so
that
just
noise.
on that issue, it's interesting because I understand overpricing beers at big events like that because it's actually a little bit of damage control.
Well, right.
Right? Because, like, they're open from noon till 3 a.m. or whatever, right? And if it's $5 beers, you're just going to have a fuck ton of wasted people.
Yeah,
right?
that's a good point.
So, you know, it's a little bit of, like, controlling that, which I get. And I'm fine with.
But that's just controlling the poor people, man.
Though.
That's not controlling the rich people.
It's true, because we saw plenty of fucking, like, bro dudes, you know, with backwards baseball caps, like, hammered.
Wasted as fuck.
Having spent
drinking mixed drinks and shit that are like $20 a piece easily, you know? Of just like a Jack and Coke or whatever, $20 easily.
Yeah, it's just like, they just dropped like $400 on beer all day or whatever. Anyway, there wasn't a ton of that. Mostly the crowd. Honestly, there was never a line at the fucking beer tents because it's a psychedelic festival, so everyone's tripping fucking face. And also, like,
they
no one
had
wants to spend $13 on beers.
No.
Yeah. So there was never a line, but we just decided, we were like, fuck it, dude, this one night, we'll just spend $100 on beer. And that's what we did. We bought like 4 or 5 each, or whatever.
Which is so not that many beers to spend $100 on. It's so outrageous.
But it was so perfect. I didn't even care because after...
I was feeling so good
after
that
the
night.
intensity of Friday night... And we just really needed to take the edge off and, like, have a really good Saturday night, which was the plan all along.
Totally.
And so, so we start drinking these expensive beers, and then we, Porn Crumpets end, and then Ween's on.
Yeah. Like, again, like, just switch to the next stage next door.
Yep.
Like, all night, basically.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we just bounced between the 2 main stages for this whole night, more or less.
Until the end, yeah.
Until the end, yeah. And so, and Ween plays Chocolate and Cheese start to finish.
Dude, it was so much fun.
It was fucking great. It was a really mixed bag, because some of those songs they never play live, and in fact, I think they maybe have never played Candy live.
They have.
Maybe once or twice.
Should look it up on that list.
Yeah, if you go to Brown Tracker, but and I hate that song. That's like the Ween song I don't like, and most people don't like it, but they did a really good, like, Brown version of it, and it was pretty funny.
Nice.
And then they sort of joked about it afterwards, of just like, oh yeah, well, that was fucking... Hope you all liked that, you know?
Right.
They were having fun. They were just having a fun night. Because Diener sings that song, and, you know, and Jeaner's the one notorious for, like, forgetting lyrics and, like, fucking up, but Diener was fucking that up, and Jeaner, like, walks the music stand over to him and was like, here, I've got the lyrics right here for you. So it was, like, a real fucking jab, dude, just, like, an onstage jab, like, midway through the song. They ripped, like, probably one of the better Voodoo Ladies I've heard.
Which is honestly usually one of the, like, I'm gonna run to the bathroom songs for you. Like, not that I dislike it, but I've heard it every single time.
For 20 minutes.
Exactly.
So.
Right, they played it every show, and they jam it for a long time. So.
Yeah, and I get to still listen to it, it's fine, but it's like, you know, in case they pull out something crazy, like, Voodoo Lady's the one that I can, like, you know, listen to on
that was
the go.
Good. And
what is it?
The Buenos Tardes.
Buenos Tardes Amigos.
Definitely one of the best renditions of that I've ever heard.
They fucking killed it. It was so good. It's
good.
definitely my favorite song from the night.
Yeah, and then they wrap up, play like 3 or 4 more songs, like non-chocolate and cheese songs.
Holy shit.
And our cat just took down the fucking coat rack.
What are you doing?
No, before I wrap up the Ween story, we should actually just dive a little deeper on chocolate and cheese. And look, listener at home, if you're not a deep Ween fan, sorry, but we're gonna talk. But we're all Ween fans here.
Die hard, fucking Ween fans.
And just seeing them play chocolate and cheese start to finish was so fucking cool. And you kind of have some opinions on that.
Yeah, well, I was just when I heard that that's what they were going to be doing, I was like, oh, fuck. It was actually the first record that I had actually bought of Ween for you, because I found it at a record store. It's the only one they had. Right. And we were like, we didn't have any Ween records, really. I mean, you had a couple, but at the time we didn't have any, and I got it for you.
That's right.
But I wasn't really too familiar with it. I just knew that we didn't actually have that record yet. So, like, that was my main... And I mean, I'd listened to it a few times, like, when we'd throw it on, but that was my main connection with that album. But when I heard that not only were they going to be at Desert Daze, but that's, like, what they were going to do in its entirety, I was like, all right, like, I'm going to revisit that and, like, get pumped, get stoked. Like, let's get real into Chocolate and Cheese. And I listened to it twice.
Yeah, dude. It is such a gnarly album.
Well, because I kind of forgot about... Because, again, I listened to it before, but I sort of forgot about a few of the songs on it. Because I was just, like, at work. It was, like, 10 in the morning, and I'm, like, pumped about Desert Daze. And I'm, like, I'm throwing on Chocolate and Cheese. And, like... Dude, like, Spinal Meningitis comes on, and, like, the actual, like, studio version of that song is, like, tough a little bit if you're not, like, prepared for it, because, like...
Why do they want to see my spine, Mommy?
Yeah.
Why do they want to see my spine?
Yeah.
It's gonna hurt again, Mommy.
Yeah.
Much worse than last time.
Yeah.
You just don't really see it coming. Like, there's no, like, indicator that the album's about to get, like, that level of weird. So, yeah, that, like, definitely threw me off. And then, is it called Mr. Won't You Please Help My Pony?
Yes, it is.
Yep.
So yeah, also forgot about that one because it's one of those classic Ween songs. Yeah, that is just like do 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 da do da do. Like it's this fucking like upbeat song for a lot of it, but like it's also really dark. Like it's.
He coughed up snot in the driveway.
Yeah.
I think it's his lung.
Yeah.
Well, this was such a weird album, too, because it's clearly, like, a bit of a breakup album, because, like, even Take Me Away is kind of this, like, this girl burned me sort of thing, and then
Baby Bitch.
Baby Bitch obviously is huge.
Well, but it's a post-breakup album.
Yeah. You
know, it's like...
Oh, it's bitter as fuck.
I wrote Birthday Boy for you, babe. You know? Like, holy mother of all fuck.
Yeah.
Is that a fucking breakup song?
No,
I just didn't know, like, how they were going to pull off some of that live without it being, like, actually weird.
Yeah. And there's a few songs... So a lot of these songs are, like, hits, like, stuff that they play on the regular.
Absolutely, totally. Which is why it was going to be so funny, because I was like, man, I'm going to be, like, really going, and then all of a sudden, like, it's going to get weird. But, like,
they get into just these two songs, so they never played Joppa Road, and they... Again, like, I don't think they ever play Candy.
No.
So, like those two songs got...
They might have ripped out a Candy for some weird fucking Halloween fucking shenanigan nonsense. I submit to you that they never played Joppa Road ever.
Yeah, also, like, maybe once or twice, and you can check Brown Tracker for that, but...
Yeah. And honestly, they did a great job, in my opinion.
Oh, they did an excellent job.
Like, I couldn't even tell you what Joppa Road sounds like most of the time, you know?
Yeah, and they did a great job of Spinal Meningitis, like, as someone who was, like, a little concerned about it.
Oh, yeah.
It was fucking fun as fuck, and fucking Mr. Won't You Please Help My Pony was fun as fuck. Like, I had no problems with either of them live. Like, it was a lot more fun than I expected.
Spinal Meningitis is they play that one live a lot, and they fucking just stop
it rips.
It's so good. Like, the chorus is worth all of it.
Yeah, totally. No, and it's actually, like, really fun. And I mean, the fucking, like... driving like bass line or whatever that is fucking killer. You get all excited and like the like glistening sounds and shit. I don't know. It's fucking.
I mean, they have fun with it.
So I had a good time with both of the songs that I was like, how are they gonna do this live without me feeling weird? Nah, it was great.
You're absolutely right about Joppa Road and Candy. like that's just not concert fare.
No, it was some weird stuff.
That's some fucking album filler bullshit that they did when they were really high just to have fun, you know.
Oh, yeah, and actually, right before Voodoo Lady was Drifter in the Dark, which they never played live either.
No shit.
And they just, like, busted out acoustics and did a real, just earnest, you know, acoustic dude sitting around a campfire version of that.
It really was that. It had that feel.
Do you ever walk alone? You know?
Walk alone.
So, yeah, it was great, man. This whole set was killer. And then, and then the last song, Don't Shit Where You Eat, is another song they don't play very often. They did a really good version of that.
I live by that song.
Right?
Yeah.
Dude, right? Listener, look it up. And so then they just like crushed out like 4 more songs. They did Touch My Tutor.
That's another tough one, man. Like,
Yeah, which I'm a huge fan of.
Touch my tutor, smoke you.
Yep.
Like, what are you gonna do with that?
Yep. Yeah, they did that. I can't even remember the next song they played, but then they did a really obscure B-side called Someday. And then...
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And then closed with Buckingham Green.
Yeah.
And, like...
Which is always
just
fucking
crushed
fun as shit.
God, they were playing that when we walked into Les Schwab the last time that I saw them there.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like a Les Schwab. I was like, weird.
I mean,
They're just like playing some fucking weed.
you know,
Hell yeah.
Les Schwab has come a long way.
Yeah,
It is Portland. I've walked into a number of establishments in Portland that just are playing weed. So.
But I'm just saying, like, being on the pavement outside, and I'm like, I don't actually need to be in there for this song.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna sing along out here.
I just love being able to just like sing that song because
Right.
everyone is.
On Buckingham Green.
Yeah, everyone's a pro when they're singing
Right.
that song.
Yeah.
Well, it encourages you to get way behind your diaphragm.
Yeah, it's fun as hell.
The child without an eye.
She kept a child clean.
Dude, and then you can sit there and fucking air guitar like
Right.
all of the like guitar line.
All that, oh, God. It's got so many brows on it.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, it's perfect for that, man. You gotta mouth
real.
that guitar.
All right. So Ween. Yeah. So they killed
was
it, man. They're just fantastic. And then immediately, Ween ends, and it was time to rush over to the next stage for Temples. And let me tell you, and so we're back on the liquid light stage.
Liquid Lunch Light Show.
Yep. And yeah, I mean, there was hardly any changeover. We like ran to the bathroom, I think.
I mean, maybe,
If
or got
even.
one more beer, maybe. Which
Yeah.
luckily we had a beer tent like right next door and whatnot. But it started like pretty right away. They
Yeah.
were like no nonsense about it.
Yeah, we ran over there and just Temple starts ripping, and they opened with my favorite song off their newest record, which we had only sort of started getting into. And I was like, because that was the thing. We were going to go to the restroom, and I was like, well, I can't go now.
We'll find some time.
Yeah, we'll find a time and listen to, I think, like 2 or 3 songs, and it's like, okay, fuck, we have to go. Like, we
Yeah.
have to go make a
Right.
'Cause,
restroom
I mean,
and a beer run.
They only have 3 albums out, and they're all so fucking amazing start to finish that it's like they're not gonna play a song I don't love tonight.
Yeah, and I think at this point we can just gush about Temples because of all the bands I saw all weekend, and again, like, saw Ween and the Flaming Lips, 2 of my favorite, like, my 2 favorite bands.
Hands down, best show though.
Temples was the best show.
Now, as far as your chemical state, where were you on the Molly at this point? Like, cruising down?
No,
I'm fuzzy as fuck.
We are flying
Yeah.
high, dude.
Cool.
Having a
So,
great
like,
time.
chemical enhancement was on point.
Yeah,
for you.
yeah.
Absolutely.
We're 2 or 3 beers deep.
I'm
plus,
dancing,
Plus, like,
trying
yeah.
not to slosh my beer.
So it's basically like peak nonsense.
This was
Definitely.
peak nonsense, and so I won't say that didn't contribute to Temples being
I
the
was
best show
in
of the
no
weekend.
way trying to imply that.
But
I
they
was
just were the
wondering,
best show of the weekend.
Like, how much it was
Like,
enhanced.
objectively, to me, aside from how much fun I had, they also just had the best set
Well,
for me.
and I mean, like, you
Yeah.
know, for our listeners at home, I have been listening to the Temples with these guys since they came back. Like, it is in no way just where you were
They're
at that night.
so
like,
good.
certainly they made an impression upon you based upon your chemical state.
Yep.
I mean, that's unavoidable. But this is in no way like
Yeah,
just a
dude.
flash in the pan kind of thing.
It's
you know?
So the like really fucking cool thing about this Temple show, for me at least, is that I felt like, you know, I mean, they definitely had flourishes on their songs, as any correct band doing a live show would do,
Right.
and make it like a live song, and they like did some really cool stuff with that, but they achieved sounds that like I would have assumed would have been album specific.
Oh, yeah.
Like certain echoes, certain like effects that they put on
I
their
get it.
notes that like I was sure it was like they're not gonna bother doing this. Like they can just go out like guitars blazing, like throw a great show and it's gonna be amazing.
yeah, the little
They
nuanced
fucking-
stuff.
They actually hit every single fucking nuanced part of their
Well, right.
of their studio album in this live show, out, and it absolutely blew my mind. I did not expect any of the things that they pulled off.
But they also
cool.
weren't one of those bands who just sound exactly
That's
like their
what I'm
album.
saying. So they have like nuances that they definitely
it, yeah.
included, and they like noodle off for a minute on a thing, but they actually achieve all of the like sounds that I didn't think they'd be. able to
they had
achieve
like
on
the
stage.
freedom to like splish splash around and like noodle off and like jam and stuff, but also we're still just like hitting all the key parts that you know from the albums and stuff. Like, oh man.
For anyone who hasn't heard the Temples, KEXP has a fucking brilliant performance from them.
Shit,
so,
yeah.
Hit up YouTube.
Also, for anyone who lives in Oregon, they are coming through in February. And we already bought our tickets, but they're playing the Doug Fir.
Which is not a big venue.
Which is super crazy because we just saw them on like this very large stage, and now they're going to play this very tiny room in Oregon in February. I cannot recommend enough just getting tickets and coming to this show.
It's going to be wild as hell.
It's going to be so good. And they're just world class. They're a world class band. I truly believe, based on the performance I saw at Desert Daze, they're like the next like Muse or something like that. They're going to be playing arenas in the next 5 years.
They're really like hitting that, and man, it's hard to.
They're huge. Like they're larger than life. When you see them, you're just like, yeah, dude, these dudes.
Dude, and they dress all fucking like posh and swank and like.
Yeah, they got that UK like mod
look
thing.
Like Pink Floyd in their high.
Yes, they do. It's wild, man.
It's no joke. Like they have captured that perfect, and they're from the UK, so it's like not too surprising.
But they have this whole music catalog to back it up. Too.
No,
I'm
convinced.
those fucking guys. It's just wild, man.
Honestly,
they're so good.
If you had told me that they were time travelers from the high folk era in the 60s,
yes,
the only way I would have been able to call bullshit is the fact that they just have better equipment, but it's also period equipment, so I don't know.
Some of the other they can put some effects that I think are at least
they definitely have
different.
effects pedals that are like modern, you know, but like they're playing like old fucking guitars and keyboards.
Oh, it's classic psychedelia.
Yeah.
I mean, at its absolute finest, and if that genre lasts, which I think it will, they're gonna go down as a really, really great band in history.
Well, we're certainly enjoying a 70s renaissance right now, which I fucking love. Like, all the throwback metal is really fucking doing it for me.
Well, and that's what Desert Daze is all about. Like, this year's lineup was actually a little different with getting some of the older bands, and then a lot more, there were a lot more what they call like bedroom pop bands, which is just like kind of like really kind of lo-fi poppy stuff. Because years previous it was more like stoner rock, like desert rock stuff, and they had some of that, but this year like really branched out into like a lot of different realms of like modern psychedelia, which is really cool. And I mean, that stuff's just not gonna go away, man. Psychedelic music is fantastic.
Here's the thing. People like to take drugs and listen to music.
Yes.
and not strictly just fucking techno and electronica and stuff, man.
No,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Furthermore, like, as a devotee of dance music, it's tough for me to say this, but like, it's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not,
it is. Don't get me wrong.
Like the whole dance music psychedelia thing. That's more of like a trance. Inducing,
right?
Like trying to get on this fucking other level.
Completely different outcomes.
Yeah, whereas with this, like you're trying to dive into the music, you know, like you're trying to get swept away by it. You're not. Yeah. It's not this physical thing, you know.
Right.
Like, yeah, you might dance.
Right.
Depending on who it is, but like. It's more hypnagogic, you know.
Right. I agree. I think there are like there's a Venn diagram of like rock psychedelia and electronic psychedelia,
they cross over.
and then there's that bleed over in between.
But like for this show, like almost none of it fits inside of that Venn diagram. You know, like I'm sorry for the shows that we're talking about right now. Yeah. For the bands that we're talking about right now, they don't necessarily fit.
They live kind of outside of that middle spot, but the vibe of the festival was similar to a rave, where it's just like, oh, everyone is fucking
on something.
Yeah, you take it for granted.
Everyone's just going ham, dude. it was cool. And and you just got like that rave vibe a little bit of just like, oh yeah, we just run into all these weird people.
Well, right.
It's just this huge mix of people just like just enjoying the music, and
it's
it all
not
just
like
comes
a big
back to the
rock
music.
show where everybody's kind of cliquey and like not really interacting. You know, it's like, oh, we're all here at this festival, and like,
I would say,
what are you doing? You know?
I would say we bummed a total of maybe like 10 cigarettes over the course of the weekend of various people, and every single one of them was like cool as fuck about it, and just like enjoying themselves and being really happy and chilling. Like,
I'd even go so far as to say we didn't run into like one shitty person the entire weekend. Everyone we interacted with was fucking cool.
Right.
Like,
it was it was like honestly a little surreal.
Yeah,
because
I didn't even,
especially being so vulnerable on Friday night and like then reflecting on my vulnerability on Friday night. In fact, on Saturday night, I don't even a little more faculties.
think I like observed or saw some shenanigans going down where I was like, oh well, that
I never saw anyone get in a fight. I never saw anyone yell at another person in a mean way.
Nope.
And I'm not saying those things didn't happen, but the entire 4 days that we were there, I didn't see it once.
Yeah, I didn't see any negativity there.
Yeah,
but,
cool shit.
Yeah, not to say it wasn't there, but...
Sure, but I mean, like, how many times do you think we'd see something garbage at Coachella?
Yeah, for sure.
Just saying.
Well, these days, for sure.
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
So temples, man, just like they're the fucking best, dude. And so that show ended, and we're flying high, and we're doing good. And so the next stop was to check out Flying Lotus. And
love me some Flying Lotus.
I'm not I don't know a ton about Flying Lotus, but he was doing this. It was marketed as a 3D show. Turns out that's exactly what it was, because earlier in the day
it was like right after Elton Gun we like found that.
It was like earlier in the day some dudes were just rolling around with boxes and was like 3D glasses for the Flying Lotus show like way later.
Oh wow,
like, sick.
You're
dude.
like, hell yeah, grab those now so we don't have to worry about it. Just stowed them in the camelback and had them.
Yeah, so we snapped those up, rolled over there, and sure enough, dude, he's got this giant fucking, it's like these giant stages, and so he's got like this giant
it's like the screen behind
backdrop.
him, like on a big stage, and then the whole back area is the screen, basically.
Yeah, totally. And and sure enough, man, it was just like full on 3D nonsense, man. Dude's up there behind his DJ booth, which is this cool ass fucking looking like molten lava fucking like podium and stuff, but then he's doing his thing. But yeah, you put on the glasses and there's just shit like flying at you. Like we were pretty far back in the crowd, and it's like,
so it was like extending kind of from the stage kind of in your general direction, but like you could definitely see it popping out of the stage, which was wild.
Skulls and asteroids and all these,
and like
different...
lots of tunnel effects, like even like lava tunnels and that kind of stuff. Like some of it was cooler than others, but he definitely had a good handle on like what the cool 3D shit is, and not like wasting your time. It's like, don't get too intricate with it. Like tunnels, man, just like just keep doing tunnels and people are gonna be like fucking pumped about it.
Yeah, there was some like flying through asteroid
perspective shit
exactly.
that really gets you, you know,
and stuff that doesn't like get cut off like on the sides. Like if you have like a whole thing that's going across the stage but it gets cut off on the sides, it's just kind of a rectangle or something coming at you.
Yeah, so
if you
there's
have
a lot
stuff
of
that's focused on the center, then it just comes straight out. Like nothing gets like diminished or anything.
Yeah,
really
it was cool, man. Just shooting lots of fucking imagery right down the center. It was cool.
Oh yeah.
But like, I'm also not the biggest like fly low fan.
Yeah, we checked it out for a while.
Yeah,
but like,
it was cool, and we knew because we had forsaken any picture taking the night before, obviously for reasons that you've already heard.
Reasons.
And so we were like, okay, here's a good opportunity to like, we can just like roll around the festival grounds, take some pictures, let's get another beer. Like,
we can still hear Flying Lotus.
Yeah, we could still just hear the show. So we were like, fuck it, dude. And we like passed our glasses off to some people who didn't even know it was supposed to be a 3D show.
It was like two guys with like a kid on like one of the guy's shoulders, and like they were just like, like rocking up to the show, and we look and they don't have glasses, and we're like, hey, we're leaving, do you guys want our glasses? And they're like, what?
We're
like,
glasses?
yeah. We're like, dude, it's a 3D show, put on the glasses. And they're like, oh my god. They put them on, they're like, hell yeah! I was like, yeah, dude. So like we made their night.
Yeah,
like,
that's
took
so
off.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
get after
fucking
it,
great.
dudes.
Yeah, they
Nice.
probably watched the rest of the show, honestly.
Yeah,
Right.
totally. So we rolled around, took a ton of pictures, and this is where refer to the show notes because we'll just put up a ton of pictures of all the like art installations and all the like cool stuff that was going on because they had stuff all over the beach and like just all peppered around the whole area.
Yeah, it was cool.
And yeah, so during this time we like got another beer, like went down to the beach and just like hung out and like talked for a while. It was great. It was nice to like kind of get out of the music for a minute.
Yeah.
And really we were just waiting for the Locust to go on because that was the band that I was desperate to see. So there's this band called the Locust. They are this old school hardcore band. They play like 30-second to minute long songs of just like spazzy hardcore, but also with keyboards. So they're like extra weird, which is why I like them because I don't like hardcore or screamo. Like hardly at all.
Yeah, it is funny that you like actually don't really like any other
Nope,
hardcore.
I don't. But if
bands.
you're weird enough, like if you're weird enough
Hey.
in any genre, I'm
Yeah.
in.
I mean, like, I love fucking, oh, Jesus Christ.
Like, are you talking about Ween's country album?
No,
okay, because
fucking-
like that's a genre that I don't love, and they do it earnestly, but it's so good.
Like, it's the band that has an album called The Power of Salad. It's, oh my god, just cut this out.
Is it Horse the band?
No, it's Lightning Bolt.
Oh, Lightning Bolt.
Yeah, I love Lightning Bolt, and I don't give a shit about any other kind of noise rock, but like,
Yeah.
those guys are fucking amazing.
Dude, and
Lightning
people
Bolt
were
was at
so-
Desert Days.
Yeah,
We
and
did not
and
catch
people
them.
were so fucking stoked about that. I heard them talking about it all weekend.
Yep.
I mean, like, you guys saw Daikaiju, so I feel like you don't necessarily need me to go off about what Lightning Bolt is about, but
Yeah.
All right.
No, and like much in the way that like maybe you don't throw on Lightning Bolt albums. I don't throw on Locust albums, but I
No.
just love them. I
And,
love
like,
the
you're not
concept
listening
of
to
them. I love what
Daikaiju
they're
either,
doing.
because, like, that's more about seeing
I'm
what they're
listening
doing.
to fucking Daikaiju.
I listen to Daikaiju.
Well, you might like Lightning Bolt, but
Okay.
anyway,
Well,
it's
anyhow.
neither here nor there. But like, check
Yeah.
out Lightning Bolt Power of Salad sometime,
Okay, will do.
and that goes to all of our listeners.
Word. So yeah, so the Locusts is like, yeah, they're this fucking screamy hardcore band that's weird, and they also dress up really weird. So like, yeah, also Google them, look at all their crazy outfits they do.
Do they
and-
change them every show?
Yeah,
Okay.
or more. Or
Or
less.
like the one at Desert Days isn't like what they wear all the time.
No,
Okay.
never seen that outfit before.
Okay.
And yeah, they're just so fucking cool. But they were also sort of the inspiration for a punk band that I used to be in called Kerr. And,
Right, okay,
and like we were nowhere near as talented or good as these guys, but we just liked the cut of their jib.
Sure.
Because they just do these short, violent outbursts, and we were like, what if we did a band that's that, right? And that was kind of what we did. Was we wrote these songs about like, or I should say, not we. Brett wrote these songs about like huffing gas and roadkill and like shooting up and just like gnarly violent shit, and all our songs were like a minute long, a minute and a half or whatever, and that was just sort of our whole
so
thing.
funny that Pratt wrote all those songs to me.
It is funny. It is
like
funny.
it just you know if you meet that guy.
Oh, yeah.
and,
Exactly.
and I'm gonna do a whole episode
St.
on
John.
Yeah.
St. John, yeah, I'm gonna do a whole episode on Kerr eventually with a story that's gonna probably be somewhat problematic. So we'll figure out how to do that. So I won't get into it too much here, but so for me, seeing the band that was like the inspiration for a band that I really loved being in, it was just so cool. Like Locust hasn't played live in 6 years. Like it was just really, really fucking cool to see them, and they were the closeout show on Saturday night, so they were playing super late. So we roll over there and just fucking dude, and they lived up to every single thing I imagined them to. It was just pure insanity.
Right.
They fucking shredded. I've got some pictures of their outfits. They wore these like cool ass bee costumes with like crazy like sci-fi visors and
Yeah,
shit.
they were wild.
It was fucking cool. And that like pretty much wraps up Saturday night. We basically
I was pretty much toast at that point. We
Yeah.
thought we'd go to the Mystic Bazaar for a little bit because Klaus Johann Grob was playing like a 2 a.m. set that night.
Right, which actually didn't even start until like 2:30 or
It
3, because
turns
when I
out.
went to bed I
Jesus.
heard him playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, we really dug his shit, so we were gonna go check it out at the Mystic Bazaar, like the campsite one. But yeah, we got back to camp and like I didn't know about anyone else, but I was fucking toast.
Yeah.
I like opened a beer and drank like most of it and then passed it off and was like, I'm actually just gonna fucking pass out.
No, and I
tired.
was like mildly encouraged to go and keep doing stuff, but then it all occurred to me that it was like, you know what? You didn't even really sleep the night
Exactly.
before, man.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you just
Like, I
just
was
go to
rolling as
bed?
Yeah,
hell,
we just
and
lay
I
down and
passed
see what
out.
happens, right?
Yeah.
I was rolling as hell and I passed out.
Yeah.
And that
That's the
doesn't
nice
always
thing about
happen.
clean
But yeah,
Molly,
I was
you
so
know?
fucking
Yeah.
tired.
Totally.
Is if you're actually really tired and you're feeling relaxed, like you can just go to sleep.
It's
Yeah.
nice.
So I also called it. I hung out with one of our campmates for a little bit and called it, and then that was Saturday night, man. And Saturday night was glorious compared to Friday night. Totally different experience.
Right? They were both like maybe ultimately like good and
Yeah.
positive.
Yeah.
But
Both
yeah,
great in their own way.
very different.
Yeah, nothing like a bunch of beer and some Molly to just like take the edge off, dude, and just like
Nothing like
well.
70 beers and
Yeah, right.
Molly.
no, $70 worth of beers,
Yeah, this time.
which amounted to only
Yeah.
a few.
Right.
Yeah, and so we got up the next day, and I should say partly through Saturday we realized what a pain in the ass it was going to be to get out Sunday morning, or Monday morning, which is when
Well,
we were
yeah.
destined to leave.
Because everyone's leaving Monday morning.
And we've got a really good friend, friend of the pod, Bugnosis, who lives in Middle California, and we wanted to reach that destination to hang out with him. We were just gonna like set aside one night to hang out with him on our trek back.
Sure.
But it all became abundantly clear that if we left Monday morning, it was going to take forever to get out of the campsite. Also, we were going to hit that LA traffic we didn't expect to hit.
Well, right.
And so
'Cause
we were
you
like-
actually have to drive through LA.
Well, like around it, but it still just like fucks it enough.
There's
dude.
no around.
Yeah,
It's all through.
Yeah, totally. And so it became like really clear. It's like we're never gonna make it to hang out with our buddy.
Because we have to be out of there, like, we determined, like, by, like, 8 or 9 or something. Like,
Or
actually
like even
leaving.
earlier, and then that still
And that
didn't
doesn't account for
the
traffic. It doesn't account for actually getting out if everyone's trying to get out at that time. Like,
Right.
it definitely became clear that, like, it would not actually be
Yeah.
possible.
So we made the decision on Saturday that we were gonna peace out on Sunday. We were like, let's just leave like Sunday evening.
And our
we'll-
campmates are also decided that they were, like, on that. They were staying for Wu-Tang
Yeah.
Sunday, but they were also on that train. They were going to try to leave that
Yeah.
night.
Right.
And
So we just were like, yeah, I guess we gotta pack up everything.
Yeah, so we just like we packed up all our shit Sunday, and the idea was that we were gonna stick around and watch Les Claypool. That was really the only thing on Sunday we like desperately wanted to see. There were a few other bands like Black Angels and some stuff like that, but it was like we really wanted to see Les Claypool. But we packed up everything, kind of do the whole daytime thing, and then we get in there, and it's like we roll into the venue at like 5, and we've got like 5-6 hours to kill until Les Claypool goes on.
Jesus.
With like, yeah, some bands we wanted to see, but nothing we were desperate to see, and we knew we weren't gonna like do any drugs because we were gonna drive out of there later,
yeah.
right?
So it's 5.
And, like, yeah, can't even
God.
really drink or
5
anything.
hours
So
with
just, like...
expensive bullshit. You know?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
and so we make it
And
like
sun, again.
Yeah.
Like, this whole sun thing
yeah,
continues to be
yeah,
a problem.
Yeah, the sun is still fucking
Still
doing
a
its
fucking
thing.
thing the
Right.
whole fucking day. And now we don't have a campsite to go back to. So
Yeah.
we can't go lounge in our chairs in the
Right.
shade like we would be waiting for fucking 5 hours for a
Right.
band. We would
Right.
never be just, like, hanging out in the
Right.
And there's
festival
no
like
just
this.
communal shade structures inside this place.
Not really, dude.
You can find shade. There's even, like, trees in the, like, grassy area and stuff. Like, you can find shade if you're seeking it out.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily in the shit.
Yeah, it also
If
just
you
felt
want to
like
be checking
weird
anything out.
and hard to even just like, yeah, you could like pull up some spot in some shade and like maybe we could have like taken a nap, but it felt weird because it's just like there's a million people
Because everything
around.
I mean, bring in goes through security. It actually wasn't, for the longest time we didn't think you could even bring like chairs in there, and then apparently like all of a sudden people started showing up on Sunday with chairs. I think because people were starting to get tired.
Yeah.
And it turns out apparently you can bring chairs in the venue.
Who knew?
Some dude brought, I even saw like a
that
video
inflatable
for
couch,
it.
dude.
So it's like I've seen like maybe it was a Kickstarter video, I don't know, but it's like this crazy ass like, it's all like a canoe. It's like a blow-up canoe with no bottom, like, you know.
Well, it's just a big windsock.
Yeah, well, okay, so you know the, like, noodle fucking slippy things that you, like, try to hold that look like a wiener and they, like, slip out of your hands every time you try to hold them?
No, but I'm definitely getting a little turned on.
Oh my god, you really don't know that toy. It's basically like that toy, except instead of one side being, like, all the way inflated and one side being not inflated, it's, like, both sides are inflated all the way.
Right, yeah.
Because it's, like, it makes the shape of a canoe, but there's no bottom. It's just, like, this fucking, like, teardrop-shaped thing with, like, a hole in the middle.
Yeah.
It's like a flat donut.
Yep.
But the way that you inflate it is you, like, pull it over your head and, like a giant, like, you're trying to fill a windsock. But it's like a giant sleeping bag-ish thing, and you're just doing that over and over again, and it just somehow, like, captures air until it's fucking full, and then you seal it up.
And then you just seal it up.
And then you have a fucking,
dude,
weird
so cool.
canoe couch that you can just, like, lounge in during a show. It's fucking insanely cool, and I want one now.
They're so cool. Yeah, if we go back to Desert Daze, we're getting a couple of those.
Dude, they're tight. I bet they're expensive, but I do want them.
They are expensive, but they seem rad.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, so, like, not even far into Sunday, we're just dying, dude. We're sitting around, we're watching a band we don't even really like that much, and then we, like, wander off to, like, go see if there's something else that we liked more, and there wasn't. And then
we ate $13 mac and cheese again.
Yeah, we ate another hot food in the venue, but then, like, not long after that, we just, like, looked at each other and we're like, it is 5 more hours until Les Claypool, and we are just dying. I had blisters on my feet.
Oh, fuck.
Like, we're just dying,
We, like, weren't
dude.
even really having, like, a whole lot of fun at this point. Like,
Yeah.
we weren't miserable, but we were just, like,
You're
not
bored.
actively having fun.
We were bored.
And we had
Yeah.
5 fucking hours, and we don't have a camp to go back to. Like, again,
And we...
when this happened in, like, other days, you could just go back to camp, fuck around, eat some snacks, fucking drink some free beer,
Sure.
like, bullshit with either your campmates or, like, some nearby people. Like,
We
just,
also
like,
had
hang
a
out.
3-hour drive that we were gonna leave on to really,
Right.
like, put some distance between ourselves and LA.
Right.
And we were like, okay, fuck, dude, Les doesn't even go on till, like, 10:30. We're not gonna get out of here until, like, midnight.
Yeah.
And then we're not gonna get our hotel till 3. And, like, we're just dead on our feet at 5 p.m. So we just bounced. we talked ourselves into just leaving. We were just like, fuck, dude. Like, we can't do it.
I told us that we had to make a promise that when Claypool and Delirium come through, like, on tour, like, we have to go. Like, no questions asked.
Yeah,
since
even
we
if they
missed
come
it.
close. Like, even if they go to, like
we
Seattle.
we
or,
have
like,
to go now because we bailed on it, but, like, man, it was so tough.
Yeah, we were just dead on our feet. And so we just, like, fucking found our dudes that we had camped with, and we were like, we're leaving, and they were like, we're so jealous because they were sticking it out for Wu-Tang, which was even later
Which was
than Les.
after Les. Yeah, they weren't
Oh
going
my
until like they weren't
God.
going on until like 9:30.
Yeah.
Luckily, they weren't too far away.
Right, they were just gonna
They were
go
just
back
going
to
to-
like LA after
yeah.
that, but yeah.
I hope they weren't disappointed.
Yeah.
I hope they weren't either. I actually haven't talked to fucking Duder about it, but yeah. So we bounced, which is the best decision we made. Yeah.
So we had to get an extra hotel to be able to do this
Sure.
because we couldn't do the full 8-hour trek to Middle California.
Yeah, it feels bad just
until
kind
the
of
next
missing
day.
day 3, but also it was just like we weren't gonna. Even if we made it to Les, we would have just been sitting in the grass, being like, yeah,
Right.
like lazily throwing horns up, being like, this rocks.
Right.
But like we're so tired,
Yeah.
you know. So it's like, what is it even worth at this point?
For real.
So we bounced, and we grabbed we got a hotel like north of LA so that we like dodged all of the LA bullshit for the next day. Went and hit a food cart.
Fucking took the most glorious shower.
Yeah, that shower was amazing.
Dude, that fucking shower wasn't even great. Like, the fucking drain didn't even drain very well, but I didn't even care. I just, like, sat in, like, 2 fucking inches deep water and fucking just, like, scrubbed every inch of myself. Like, yes.
I know you guys have already heard my rainbow story, but, like...
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we were only out for, like, 2.5 days.
Well,
it's like,
I guess, did we shower on Thursday?
Yeah, so it was like Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, half of Sunday. So like 3 total days. Long. Yeah.
But like it's dirty out there, so I was definitely like I was putting some brown water down the drain. For sure.
Yeah. No, it was dusty. It was dusty for sure. But yeah, so like so we grabbed that hotel room, got a fucking rad burrito. Hit the road the next day and met up with our boy Bugnosis and hung out, and that was just awesome.
Dude, I ate a potato bomb, which is apparently
I can show you how to make those.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh,
dude, this one was like the most massive
core.
fucking potato of my entire life, and it had macaroni and cheese in it, and
brisket.
Smoked brisket or whatever brisket, or is definitely had like some barbecue sauce on it, and fucking French's onions. I don't know how ubiquitous they are, or like if they're the same.
This is the beauty
everywhere.
of potato bombs. You get to make whatever you want.
I've just never seen a fucking big potato with macaroni and cheese and brisket in it before. Like, but holy fuck, did it work? Oh my god, it was fucking amazing. Yeah, and I only ate half of it, and then I ate the other half once I got back to Portland.
Yeah,
it was so fucking good.
It was so awesome.
Oh my god, let's barbecue, you guys! Like,
dude, please. I so desperately want a barbecue, man. No one owns one. Make fucking Matt Ty fucking go to barbecue.
Oh yeah, well we know a couple Matts who can probably host some barbecues. So.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true.
I can. My barbecue is fucked, but I know how to use one.
That's why I'm saying just come over to a place where we're gonna convince someone to buy a barbecue.
Yeah, if someone buys a barbecue, I will show you like.
I'll make sure that you're first on the
different things to do with it.
roster for sure.
Yeah, honestly, there's just like not much more to this story.
Yeah,
so we could, like we just like came home the next day.
Oh yeah, when we were coming home, what date would that have been?
Oh god,
like
I don't remember.
It's around like the 17th or 18th of October, I think, is when we were coming back to Portland. It was when like those 2 semis fucking crashed and like
on I-5.
lit on fire on I-5.
Yes.
In like later October.
Luckily Google Maps like flagged us and was like, hey like you might run into a problem here, like exit, like here's a better route, and it like routed us around it,
and there were a bunch of cars taking it, so clearly several people were also getting alerted on their GPSs or whatever. But I mean, we were able to like get around this thing, but man, traffic. So it was I think the Woodburn exit, I want to say, is where like this shit went down. And the southbound traffic, because it was going the opposite way of us, was backed up from that exit all the way to the Canby exit. Is the only way I know, because I just like looked at signs. I can't tell you how long that was. It was at least 2 or 3 miles though. Like it was so fucking insane how far traffic was backed up, because all they could do was direct them like off the highway and like around and back on the highway, and it was just northbound, like,
and northbound was fucked because the smoke billowing over from the southbound wreck was like
it was like obstructing view.
It was a semi
like,
crash that like erupted in fire. And like I still don't know the details.
So bad
on it.
That like it was obstructing like vision
like
on the southbound or on the northbound, right? So it was they were diverting people and making them exit and like re-enter the highway too.
Yeah.
Somehow, we only were detoured like a half hour. We almost would have been detoured like an hour and a half more, honestly, from that.
Fuck. Which was crazy because we were so desperate to get home.
Yeah, at that point, it was a really dire situation at that point.
When you're on that like last 2 hour stretch of a long trip and you're just like,
yeah, it was. Oh man, I desperately wanted to be home.
Yeah, there was one point where Google was just like, every time we checked it, it was like adding like more time. It was
God.
Oh, we were supposed to be home in an hour, and now it's saying like 3 hours, and we're like, fuck, no.
Absolutely not. Like, how can I make this not a reality?
Yeah.
So we kind of managed it. I mean, it
worked out. It worked out.
But yeah, dude, that was a rough last stretch. I was so ready to be home and hugging a cat.
Yeah. Aww. Yeah, and I just wanted to kind of get into an overview of kind of the experience of the weekend, because it was a lot of ups and downs, and it was a lot of fun. It was cool. I learned some really important things that I think are relevant to this podcast.
Sure.
Namely, okay, first of all, 3-day festivals are a young man's game.
Holy shit. Yeah, I mean, like...
I'm only 28, and I already sort of feel that, honestly.
I didn't want to piss on your rainbow back when you were like, bro, come with me.
Yeah.
But, like, I've been to Burning Man, and I knew that I wasn't going to be able to last, you know?
Well, look, and we didn't last either, man. We skipped out on day 3. And, you know, and it was fine. And I want to do this again, but I learned some things. I definitely want to do Desert Daze or something similar again.
Well, and I'm in for some kind of, like, group psychedelic scenario.
Yeah. And Desert Daze is an amazing experience. If it continues to be anything like what we experienced, it was fucking rad, dude.
Yeah, it really was.
As far as, like, the... just the vibe and the attitude, it was so fucking cool. Everyone was just on the level. There was no negativity anywhere. Everyone was just on the level, man, and everyone was there to do psychedelics, man.
Yeah.
That was the vibe of the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Like, people were just there to trip and shroom and fucking whatever, dude.
Well, just get weird.
And get weird.
Great.
It was so really refreshing.
We've finally arrived at this future that I predicted when I was a teenager, you know, like Prohibition didn't fuck us up too bad, you know.
And it was so cool, and that was one of the things that I respected so much about the weekend, and just everything was like, it was clearly designed to be that. It was like, between the art installations and the effort that the promoters went through to, like, you know, and the bands they booked and everything, it was like, this weekend was designed for people to come out and trip and rearrange atoms for a weekend, and it was rad, and every single person there, as far as I could tell, did. everyone in our vicinity of camp that we talked to were taking psychedelics throughout the weekend. Even Friday night when we were like staring into the fucking maw of fucking insanity, I still was looking around and seeing other people that I could identify as like more fucked up than me. You know?
Which is always a little reassuring. It's like, but we're all still existing, like, in this area. No one's trying to hurt us or be mad at us or
like we're just gonna like lay here and like park here for a while, and like I'm looking around and I see other people just like doing the same or, you know, or different, or like, or gnarlier, you know, just like, oh yeah, this person's fucking going hard too. Well, like,
and the most concern that was ever drawn to me was like the one time that like a really kind fellow stopped by and was like, hey, you good? And I was like, yeah, thanks. And he's like, no problem, have fun or whatever. And then just took off. It was like, man, if that's the only interaction I'm gonna have with other people being concerned about what I'm doing, that's great.
He saw you trying to solve a puzzle that you weren't sure you were up for.
Well, no, I had already told the story, but like when he was going to the bathroom and I was like the camelback holder, just like sitting in the grass, like staring at the porta potties. That's when he was like,
"Oh wow!"
Like, hey. You alright? And I was like, yeah, totally. And he's like, excellent. And then took off. I was like, yeah, dude.
Saint right
there. Like he was just rolling by with friends and like noticed me just like by myself with like, 2 camelbacks just like hunkered down.
Prehensile camelbacks.
And just like quick check-in, like not gonna make it weird, but like
just a wellness check. Yeah,
like what if I were like, no, I don't know where I am. Then maybe he could have been like, let's get you to someone who can help.
Let me direct you to the med tent.
Or whatever.
Or
so,
whatever.
that was great.
Yeah,
That was like the
just,
only interaction.
Dude, we even
furthermore, just real quick as a PSA for anyone who's at any festival anywhere ever, like, if anybody is ever having a hard time that can't be like figured out by you and your crew, the fucking med tents at all of these festivals are so
legit.
well prepared for what you're dealing with, and they're not going to turn you into the cops. Like, seriously,
that's maybe where we could have found some milk. But
if you,
oh fuck, why don't we go to the
I'm
med
not going to guarantee that the med tent has milk, but
we gotta
I'm just saying.
that.
If anybody's having a hard time that you can't fucking resolve, like, man, they got blankets, they got fucking
well, and that was such the cool thing, like,
all the things,
because I rolled by the med tents several times throughout the weekend, and I never saw anyone there. It's just like everyone was handling their shit, dude.
Well, god damn it,
it was cool.
This is the picture perfect festival.
It was cool, man.
Yeah,
and again,
really
like,
was.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't see
it's
everything.
my only festival experience, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
They
I'm
really
sure there
knocked
were
it
the
out of the
dark
park.
corners that I missed out on, but like,
Sure.
by and large, it was just fucking cool, man. Everyone handled their shit. Everyone had fun, and you know, some 10,000 people just like tripped out in the fucking desert for 3 days, and it was fucking cool.
I will say that it tends to be the folks who are into the weird, obscure shit who are the ones who are most capable of handling their stuff. Like, and this is just based on my experience as someone who's like involved with a concert venue. Like, and I hate to even use this band's fan base as an example, but I feel like it's very demonstrative. Incubus.
Yeah.
Their fan base.
Well, they're like a bro dude band.
Are they though?
I think so. Okay. I don't know.
I mean, like, I thought that too.
Like, that's kind of what I was initially thinking.
Okay,
all of a sudden I was like,
wait,
do
are
I
you are you about to defend them? Like, were they cool?
I'm not defending a fucking thing about their music.
No. But their fans were cool.
Are the most well behaved, like, courteous.
Well, they're all in their 30s now, dude.
Well, no fucking kidding. But Deep Purple played like a month before they did, and that was a goddamn shit show.
Because that was a bunch of boomers, homie. Like, that's exactly why, dude. You know it in your heart of hearts as a fucking service industry person. Boomers are way shittier than millennials when it comes to any service industry
I wasn't trying to delineate that specifically.
It's true.
But
that explains
anyone
a lot.
who doesn't identify with that can, like, rescind themselves from that. But, like,
hey,
I'm making a statement and I'm standing by it.
I'm not backing up from it either. Like, all I'm saying is the folks at the Incubus concert drank twice as much and had zero problems.
Whoa, sick.
Yeah.
Like,
And, like,
I'm
drank a
talking
bunch too,
I'm
though.
talking about, like, we went through fucking like a dozen kegs on that show, and it wasn't even half.
What was
full.
Incubus at, like, the Schnitz?
The Keller?
At the fucking Keller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The weirdest shows
Seems
come
weird.
to the Keller.
Oh, guess who's going to be at the Schnitz next month? King fucking Diamond.
With Uncle Acid.
Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats
the
are the
fucking
opening
Schnitz?
band.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Like,
Does anyone do any research about these venues when they're fucking booking these bands?
like,
It's
this
so
is a
weird.
Roseland show. Am I right?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
are these bookers not, like,
But here's the thing.
recognizing what the Schnitz is?
Here's
And
the
what
thing,
it
though.
looks
Like, I don't know how many people the Roseland holds, but the Schnitz holds about 3,000.
Well, if not the Roseland,
And
then the
it's
Crystal.
sold
Like,
the fuck out.
Oh yeah.
certainly. That's not a venue for a fucking Incubus show. Like, put them up at the fucking
Or
Crystal.
for a King Diamond show.
Or King Diamond. Sorry,
Yeah.
we were on King Diamond. I don't even care. Same different. Like, a rock show shouldn't
Well, but how
be
many?
at the fucking
Like, you
Schnitz.
should
It's so
you know
weird.
this. How many does the Crystal hold?
I don't. We.
I think it's 2,000.
Okay.
So it's not big enough.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
the
yeah.
Wonder's smaller than the Crystal.
Wonder's
way
smaller.
Yeah.
Is the Crystal the biggest?
Crystal's the
floor-
biggest before you get into like bigger.
Before you get
Crystal's
to the
actually
stadium.
bigger than Roseland, as we found out.
Well, absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, so I guess like if you don't want to go to like the fucking Coliseum or Moto, then you're going
Well,
to
because
the
that's the
fucking
thing is,
Schnitz
I
or
don't
fucking
think
Keller.
it's big enough for Coliseum.
Right.
So
Right.
like,
I didn't realize
Schnitz or
it
Keller's
was 3,000, man.
Right.
yeah. Well, okay, no, Schnitz is actually 27. Keller's 3.
But
Okay,
still,
but,
like
yeah.
I didn't realize they were like the next biggest outside of the like
kind
floor
of, yeah,
venues.
it's kind of how it goes. Yeah,
Wild.
But look, with the Georgian fucking ceilings and
right.
all the weird like super complicated shit on
That's
the balconies.
why I feel like it's so weird to have like a grungy rock show there.
Going to
Weird
get
move.
trashed. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
mean, I saw Queens of Stone Age at the Paramount, which is in Denver, and it's also like it's like a Keller. It's not a Schnitz, but it's a Keller.
well, that's like Keller,
And
fine,
it was weird. It's just,
like,
but it's just all seated. It's just a
exactly.
seated theater.
and you
That's
expect
weird.
it to be more like general admission,
And
where
they
you can
had
have a
pit
pit,
tickets.
you know?
Right. Or even just a standing area, but there's just no
There's
standing
not
area.
going to be a pit at the Schnitz.
Right.
I can
Yeah,
guarantee
yeah,
that.
no, there won't be.
And like it is a fucking like symphony theater, you know,
Right.
like it's a
Yeah.
place where they do opera and ballet, you know, like
Right.
Yeah,
it's a classic theater.
No.
right.
That's why it was so fucking weird. Wait, which one is the one with the fountain outside? The like
Keller.
tiered fountain,
Keller,
the Keller.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where I saw the Flaming Lips. Like,
Oh yeah, and somebody
first time.
soap bombed the fountain.
Yeah,
but like it was weird being in there because okay, the seats were weird, but he got in the fucking Zorb, but he could only come out like a tiny bit because they have the fucking big ass chandeliers in there.
Yeah,
so he could only
right.
come out like a second, and then like had to just roll right back. It was like cool, like he got in it and he like danced around or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like that was kind of.
Well, it was funny when we saw Lips at the Roseland a couple years ago because, I mean, you absolutely can't do the fucking hamster ball there.
Because
I know.
ceiling's too low.
But they did the fucking crazy thing where he rode the, like,
oh yeah.
the, like, unicorn.
It was like a floaty. It was
Yeah.
like one of those
They, like,
floaties
built
you'd have
this-
in a big pool or something.
Yeah.
It was like a unicorn floaty thing.
Yeah, and he, like, rode
was
that
like-
out into the audience and, like, sang a song. And, like,
Yeah.
it was like, that was cool, man.
Love it.
Yeah.
Dude, Lips at the Roseland, that was the last good Roseland show I saw. But that's neither here nor there. Okay, so the other thing that I have to point out. So, okay, yeah. So the festival thing, that is a young person's game, man.
Damn
and
straight.
and I also have to like point this out because I thought about it Saturday day. Like I was watching because we're watching Elton Gun. It's like sunlight. I mean, it's like 3 PM, man. The
Yeah.
sun's just beating down, and I'm just
Like
watching.
directly overhead, no fucking chance of shade.
Yeah,
Really.
and I'm just watching all these fucking people just like going hard in the paint, dude. Just like, it's 3 PM on Saturday of a 3-day festival, and they're just raging, dude, throwing fists around, dancing their fucking asses off.
Oh god,
And I'm looking at them, and I'm like, how?
right?
Like, how are you this right now? Like, assuming after Friday, and then also like, how are you going to do anything after this?
just pumped to the max.
Yeah.
At 3 p.m.
Yeah.
But then the thing that I noticed that all the people who were going that hard, I was like, oh, they're like 21, 22.
Well, I
you
kind
know?
of figured this was the revelation.
Yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, so step 1, be in your early 20s, and that's how you go ham. Because I just was just baffled at some of the people who fucking stuck with the whole weekend and just went
Dude.
crazy.
Dude, like the carrot guys, dude.
The carrot guy, yeah. So there was a guy who was rocking the whole festival hard who just had a carrot on a staff and made his way to the front
They had,
of
like,
almost
lights around
every
it,
single
too,
show.
So it showed up at night too.
Dope.
But he
Yep.
was like always like front and center of every major show.
Yep.
Like if you look up
I
any
mean,
of the videos from
yeah.
fucking Desert Days, they all have just this light
there's
up
just
fucking
this
giant
fucking
carrot,
carrot,
just
like, waving
swaying
around in the front.
fucking shit.
Well, hey, when I was in my early 20s and like being a rave promoter, like I had the patented Matthew weight loss program, which was just literally go to an electronic show every weekend and dance for at least 6 hours.
Yeah. Sweat it out.
Yeah, I mean, like, just drink water and, like, take Molly and fucking sweat it out for 6 hours. you know? Like,
yeah.
guaranteed you will lose weight. And, I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah. And, like, there were even weekends where, like, I wouldn't even do Molly and I would dance for, like, 8 hours.
Yep.
And then, after the rave was done, I'd break everything down and we'd load it in trucks.
Yep.
And, like, we wouldn't even stop moving until, like, noon the next day.
Oh my God.
And that's when we would end up in another venue. And like sometimes I wouldn't even do drugs. And I would dance all night.
Yeah.
And then break it down the next day. And then we'd go to another venue. And then we would do the drugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we'd already successfully thrown a party.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, now let's do our drugs.
No,
and
we'll do the after party.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
The next day.
Yeah,
after
it's
party.
like
so-
48 hour fucking
48 hours
parties.
exactly. Like, you know, like
No.
but by about, you know, midnight or whatever of the next day, we'd be like, wow, I can't even see straight anymore.
Yeah.
Let's smoke weed and collapse into whatever room we're in.
Dude, yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. And I guess that's like the last thing I wanted to just sort of talk about was just like, yeah, we'll just wrap this up with a conversation on like my perspective on psychedelics. So now.
Nathan,
Yeah.
what do you think about psychedelics now?
Yeah, right?
Here and now.
And so, yeah, for listeners of the pod, you all know that, I mean, you know, I'm seasoned. I used to do a lot. Psychedelics are not my first rodeo. Like, doing acid's not my first rodeo. This experience was easily one of the top 3 hardest trips I've ever had, where it was just so intense, and I don't know if it was the quantity of what I did or just the surrounding, and I think it was the surrounding
I
a
think
lot.
it was a little of both, too.
Yeah, it was a little of both.
Being
Sounds like it
honest.
might have been a little of both, yeah.
But the thing is like, man, I had a really good time. I haven't done LSD in probably like, I don't know. Fuck. When did we do it? Like,
Was it LSD? I mean,
yeah, and it wasn't even strong when we
Yeah.
did it out here. It was like 2012.
it was fun, but it was
And then
like
before
2012.
that, it had been like another, I don't know, 8 years or something. So it was a very long time since I've done LSD to this capacity. And so that's why I think it's worth mentioning, because, I mean, I don't know. I wanted that experience. I wanted to like revisit that. I'm not sure I'm gonna revisit it anytime soon. Maybe like in nature.
See, and that's all I'm saying. That's a different
sensory overload thing of the festival was definitely a problem for me. I wanted that to be cool, but it just like was too much. So that was a thing, but also like, as I've talked about on this pod, for me personally, I like using psychedelics to rewire myself and sort of, you know, just sort of like get in and tinker around, you know, like, oh, okay, you know, like once all the inhibitions are gone, I can sort of explore myself a little bit. But it turns out I like myself. And I have for like a good minute now.
And this is one of the reasons that we stopped doing psychedelics, right?
Yeah, totally. And so it was just
tinkering left to do.
Yeah, and so if anything, you know, and I won't say I don't learn, or I don't want to say I don't learn anything from each psychedelic experience. So if I have to take anything away from this one, it was just sort of like, hey, maybe you don't need this anymore. Or very rarely, or different conditions at the very least.
Or at the very least, not like cramming 1,000,000 hits into your face all at once.
I even think the quantity was good, and it could have been better in like a different scenario. But like, it was too much for this particular setting.
Sure.
But if I even dove deeper and just like looked at what it was, I just don't feel like I learned as much as I wanted to. But if I did learn anything, it was just like, no, man, like, I like who I am. I've come a long way on this, and tried to discover who I am through psychedelics, and that's what brought me to a place like Desert Daze. Like, my love of psychedelia brought me there.
Right.
And everything that they offered was so cool, man. And it's just like all these art installations and all the music and all the vibe and the people and everything was so perfect. And it turns out like I just need the extra kick. Like, I could have just enjoyed that on my own without it and would have gotten just as much. Well, I don't know. I would have gotten it.
a respectable amount of what I needed.
But let's say that like your dosage level had been diluted, by like anywhere between 2 or 5 or 10 times.
Maybe. And I don't know, man.
And maybe microdosing is the place to start from.
Yeah, and seeing like I have a weird thing with microdosing because I usually just get anxious when I microdose.
Sorry, microdosing isn't what I meant. Your mileage will definitely vary. I don't want to say that it's bullshit on this podcast because people have definitely expressed.
I think you're suggesting what if I did a little less, and like maybe it would have been different. But I still think I learned the same lesson, and that is, for me personally, that I just don't need the psychedelic experience like I once did. I feel like I live a psychedelic life already. Yeah. Like I have much appreciation for psychedelia. I have sort of that mentality kind of just in general of just like embracing the openness of the world, like appreciating the fucking fantasy that is like the world around us, and like
right,
and it was nice to kind of like remember that of like, oh yeah, dude, like this is what it's like. And like also I just don't know if I'm going to do it again anytime super soon.
And dude, here we are, like we've been through all of this fucking shit, and like it's not like we haven't had access to this in the last 20 years.
It's true.
Like it's we put our groceries away and like realized that we have that mindset already, and like I can enjoy Pink Floyd without tripping my fucking sack off,
Totally. And that's sort of where I'm at, and I love that I had this experience, and
I'm still gonna put you in a headlock and make you eat some fucking liquid at some point.
Hey, yeah. I mean, look, dude, I'm not ruling out like more coming ups, and I'm not ruling things out. Just this experience in particular definitely showed me that like this was not the experience I was necessarily looking for. And so if that's the lesson to be learned, then I take that lesson. But the biggest lesson that I learned was I like myself.
Fuck yeah.
I like the person I've become, and I have for a good while now. I'm certainly always have things to work on. But like I have done the rewiring. I did it long ago, and that rewiring has stuck to this day.
Oh yeah.
And so that to me, it was important to remind myself of that, of like, you did the work way back in the day, and you did a good job, and you're a good person, and you're a person that you like. And that's tough. That's tough to understand for some people too, I understand. So
well, absolutely, and especially in this modern climate of like kind of like woo-woo self-improvement, like apparently you can never stop improving yourself.
Of course.
And so if we are to extrapolate that into psychedelic drugs, then we just have to keep looping through that fucking revolving door. But it's not the case, man. Like, and I'm not saying that we need to stop working on ourselves, but like working on ourselves through psychedelics has an endpoint.
But I know that that's like our old man take on things, or like that sort of thing. But I really want to know, Rikki, how you felt about this experience.
I mean, it was definitely like way different, because I mean, though I've like done acid a few times and had like a few psychedelic experiences, none really like came close to like what this was. And I mean, like I've eaten a half-eighth of mushrooms. I've done a few hits of acid before. None of them really hit quite the same as this. So like for me, instead of like getting real deep and like digging into my soul and like rearranging my parts and doing all sorts of like wild ass shit, I had a really cool test in like keeping not only my body but my psyche like somehow, like I imagine like you accidentally loosen like a whole bouquet of balloons and you're like trying to like pull down all the balloons and
That is such a good metaphor.
Like,
that is such
together,
a good metaphor.
But, like, they keep slipping out and you have to like fucking
yeah.
grab them again. That was like, because it's like I knew I was capable of it the whole time. Like the balloons are fucking like floating out slow and I'm like able to fucking grab them. Like I can keep it fucking together. But, like, it's a full-time fucking job doing this.
Yeah,
and, like, and, like, yeah, I don't feel great while it's going along. And, yeah, it was, like, by the end of it, I was actually really proud. Because, yeah, I definitely, like, never got sick. Even when I was, like, telling him to take me out to the fucking beach so I could throw up. Because I was determined that was all I needed in the world. Was just, if I throw up, it'll change how like my body feels.
I mean,
I never threw up. I never did. That was the best idea that like I had at the time. Like, how can I make this stop? Oh, maybe if I like purge my insides. But yeah, like at least like reflecting back on it, it was like a really cool exercise for me in like being in a totally different fucking reality and like being confident that I was still able to like. I mean, I looked like a fucking tripping fucking person probably doing it, but I, like, kept it together. I didn't let, like, my mind wander into, like, insanity. Like, there was a few times where I was like, if you entertain this thought, like, 2 more minutes, you're gonna, like...
Yeah.
Freak out. You're gonna full-on panic. And I was like, nope, we're not fucking panicking. This isn't a panicable moment. You're fine. I know it's shitty, but you're fine.
Like the
and like no panicking will be happening at this festival because it's gonna make I was like, it's gonna make everything so much worse if you panic.
Yeah.
It's kind of how I reasoned it.
Yep.
So I was like, just don't. Because like seriously, just don't.
Which is funny.
Like threaten myself into not panicking.
So
and
it's funny. Don't panic was your mantra.
Kinda, yeah.
And it's funny that you say that.
Guide to the Galaxy shit.
Because that's like
we did have a towel.
Because a little bit, that's just like a little bit, that's the acid experience, right? Is like you're walking up to these edges and you're just like, oh, I feel like I could just lose it at any moment, and then the reining yourself back in is the moments of clarity and the moments of like understanding where you're like, I have walked to the fucking void and pulled myself back.
Well, right.
And those are the moments that feel profound,
it's
right?
literally the definition of my fucking sanity. Yeah.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember several times where you like I was like staring off for like a little too long, and you were like, hey, come back to me, and I'd be like, oh hey,
yeah,
and be like, okay,
yeah,
you're here, you're good,
yeah. Totally.
Or, yeah, just reminding me, like, hey, don't forget you're in control. And, like, that shit was so powerful. I was like, thank God you reminded me that, like...
Yeah.
I can fucking, like...
Yeah.
I have the control to look away. I have the control to fucking, like, take this a different direction.
Right.
I can, like,
I have the power to walk up to an ice cream stand and make a fool of myself. But, like, you know? But, like, we can do it. We can fucking pull this off. We can get through this. And,
it was good.
And honestly, and, like, it's so weird because that is a little bit of the tripping experience, is, like, pushing yourself to an edge of uncomfortability or...
Discomfort.
Uncomfortability.
No, I like it. We should go
pushing yourself to an edge of discomfort and then reining yourself back in, right? And just like bringing yourself back, like peering into that void and being like, nope. Like, we've got control of our lives. We've got control of ourselves, control of our minds. And that speaks volumes. That's the like profound stuff that you understand and can't put into words.
Right.
And even like the stuff you were talking about,
that's
like
the acid test.
Like did we talk about this in the previous segment? But like talking about like the limits and stuff, because like the first night we came back and we were talking about like limit breaking and stuff, and just like trying to like put into words what we'd experienced, but you were just like. And I totally got what you were saying.
Well, yeah, like, once you, like, break all of the limits, like, you can't gauge for yourself what's too much anymore because all of the limits have, like, effectively been broken.
Yeah,
so, like, you can't gauge, like, what is too much for you to handle.
Right.
Because, like, you're just in it.
Right. Totally.
And it's like, well, once, like, all of the limits have been, like, I mean, just deemed non-existent. Like,
Right.
where are any of your boundaries of discomfort? Like, where
Right.
do they... Like, it makes it so hard to discern, like, how uncomfortable I am or, like, how anything I am.
Right.
Because, like,
Yeah.
there's just no, like, defining point of desertion.
Where am I
Yeah.
anyway?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Yeah.
like the fucking, oh god, the thing from Good Place, the thing that spells out the kid's name.
Oh, the Jeremy Bearimy?
Yeah, the Jeremy Bearimy.
Yep.
It's like really kind of horrible.
Yep. Yep. See, and,
Fucking cracks me up because, like, I kind of get it.
and I guess even to, like, bring it back a little bit, that's kind of my point, because, like, Jeremy Bearimy is such a psychedelic concept, and I feel like I get that on another level because I've done psychedelics.
Right.
Sure.
And so, but I don't know if that means that I need to do psychedelics on the reg anymore. So, I don't know. I guess that's just, like, my larger... Or, you know, my large-ish conversation at the end of this was like, damn, really happy I made the decisions I did, but, like, holy fuck, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like...
It was way more than I expected, even in my old age and my seasoned fucking knowledge. Like,
I feel like we're gonna drop acid on a beach at some point, or maybe in a
I mean, it
desert,
really
but
should happen, dude. Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know either. I did want you there the whole time, man.
Well,
For real, you'd have
Yeah.
a good time.
Yeah. You would have also probably, like, saved my ass. Because you're just, like, one of my best friends, and, like, yeah.
Tell you what,
God.
if I'd had the money, I would have gone.
Yeah, well,
But-
we'll make it happen soon. We'll do something like this soon, so...
Be tight.
But I mean, also, like, maybe it's a thing where we only stay 1 or 2 nights instead of 3. You know?
Hey, yeah,
Maybe.
totally, dude, totally. Yeah, we'll do something like this soon. Fuck though, man. That was a fun-ass trip.
Hell yeah.
Sounds like it. There's a lot of shit that I want to do.
An
Yeah.
overall fun-ass trip.
Yeah.
The trip was enlightening.
Yeah.
The whole trip was great.
Yeah. Enlightening indeed. Or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
so not in like the learning way though. In like the oh fuck, like
Let's do
other
this
shit
in this
exists
way
in
next
my
time.
mind.